In the maker community as a whole, molding is an extremely powerful tool that is being underutilized in countless projects, invention prototyping, and micromanufacturing that could be helping to produce a virtually unlimited amount of products and inventions. While 3D printing is an amazing tool that has been heavily utilized by the maker community in the last few years, molding is the bridge from rapid prototyping to rapid manufacturing. In most cases, 3D printing can produce the first prototype of an object faster than the pipeline process of mass manufacturing. But once a duplicate prototype is requested, the problems of speed and 3D printing duplicate objects become apparent. Let's look at this scenario. A skilled maker dad has a great setup for 3D printing, and his daughter wants him to print a flaming skull found online. Using a state-of-the-art open-source 3D printer makes this request a few simple button presses away from granting his daughter's wish. As many 3D printing enthusiasts and experts know, 3D printing is not an instant process, but overall can produce the first part faster than the start to finish of mass manufacturing. With the 3D printed part completed, this maker dad was able to transform bits into atoms as a gift to his daughter in a little over 7 hours. But now his daughter wants another one. Instead of taking another 7 hours to print a duplicate, this wise maker dad decides to cast a silicone mold from the 3D printed part. He will then use his new innovation, the RotoMAAK, to rotational mold a hollow replica of the 3D printed part using a 2-part air cure resin. This allows the duplicate to be created in 10 minutes or less once in the RotoMAAK, and at a fraction of the cost compared to a solid molded object. And if his daughter requested 9 more for her friends, it would only be 10 minutes per object, resulting in a comparative difference of 90 minutes versus 63 hours in respect to rotational molding and 3D printing.
Hi, this is Mark from RotoMAAK, here today to introduce you to the RotoMAAK, a spin casting machine that I designed, built, engineered to fill a need that I had. I had made some salesman samples up of a large rotational cast part that the customer wanted a smaller version for his salesman to take. We were able to 3D print a sample. The first one up took about 12 hours to print. After that, the customer wanted 10 more, and we needed a way to relatively fast reproduce this part. After research online, there was no desktop rotational machines available to be able to do this. So you can print your 3D part, you can take really any part and make a silicone mold off of it, and be able to, with a 2-part epoxy, fill your mold, stick it in the machine and spin it, and it'll spin it in both directions to allow the epoxy to cure on the outside to make a hollow part. And here is the RotoMAAK, small desktop rotational casting machine, takes a small footprint up. It's all made out of 1/4-inch melamine, laser cut, precision laser cut, and with a nut and bolt fastening with tabs here, makes a very strong, sturdy frame, reinforcements where it's needed. And we use a 12-volt gear motor here on the side that directly drives the major axis. Along with that, it comes over and runs off of an O-ring belt here that's fixed, walks around this one, which turns your minor axis. Along with that, you only have one motor to worry about. We're doing a 3-to-1 gear ratio from major to minor axis to allow full coating, for it's completely random when it turns. Fully variable speed. Different molds are going to take different speeds. It's going to take a little trial and error on each individual mold. Do that. The mold is the saddle here that we have designed is fully adjustable to allow you to center the weight of your mold on both axes. This saddle will slide up and down to accommodate pretty much virtually any size of mold and weight on there. We have precision 608 bearings on all pivot, on all places that need to turn. So it's a very smooth spinning and long life.
Hi, I'm Steve from CME CNC, and we make the RotoMAAKs and Orion Delta 3D printers. First time I saw the RotoMAAK, I was really impressed with the low-cost aspect of it. It's really cool to give people the ability to reproduce what they invented on a 3D printer. So a person can take that model they just printed and say, oh, I like this, they can do the inverse, print the mold, and then begin roto-molding the plastic parts from that much more quickly than 3D printing another model.
Hey, my name is Brian. I'm the owner of Laser Accents in Goshen, Indiana. Mark Van Diepenbos, he's my brother. He's always had creative ideas, and it's always interesting to see what he's going to come up with. And I like to help him with those projects too. He came with the RotoMAAK idea, and I just saw that it was really a good fit for 3D printing. I can see it being something that would enable you to run small production runs. You print the original, make a mold, and then you rotomold it, and you can run small quantity production. This is kind of a bridge between printing a one-off one and having an injection mold made and making tens of thousands of them. I have this engraving business and laser cutting we've been doing for 26 years. It's just kind of another job for us to run through. So it's not like it's going to be really a big deal. We have 3 lasers. We can cut these things.
I'm John Oley from CMECNC.com, and we build some of the craziest 3D printers out there, the RotoMAAK and Orion Delta 3D printers. We first learned about the RotoMAAK from Mark at our makerspace here in Indiana. One of the first things that he brought to the group was his rotational molding experience, and he had an idea for a way to make a machine that people could build themselves and put on their desk. We kind of got together and started talking about how you could 3D print your part and then use that to make your casting for your mold, and then you could then rotomold your duplicates. I think the RotoMAAK is going to be a pretty good addition to the maker movement and the DIY crowd, because the guys that are out there that have the 3D printers that know how to already rapid prototype, get their first designs done, go through the iterations, make the changes that they need. It's going to be another tool in their arsenal to go from their concept to a production environment where they can actually produce parts in quantities to fill orders for some of their inventions and ideas.
Hi, my name is Mike Foppel with the Illuminate Corporation. We actually manufacture and produce all sorts of different chemicals, silicones, urethanes, epoxies for mold making and casting for a wide variety of industries. When Mark first introduced the RotoMAAK to us, I was very impressed, number one, with the entry-level price point, but also the versatility of a desktop holocaster. There's really nothing like this out in the industry, and I think it's going to make a very positive impact for our industry and people that want to do small parts in holocasting.
We need your help to put RotoMAAK on the desktop of all makers, craftsmen, artists, and business owners who understand the creative power of rotational casting. Helping us achieve our funding level will allow us to acquire quantity pricing to deliver the RotoMAAK to everyone at an affordable price.
Well, Mark, man, this is an incredible product, man. You taught me so much about making my own stuff in the world and not going to the store and buying anything, because you got a tool now. You know, if you could build a new product and not only just make one on a 3D printer. You know, if people know 3D printers, I mean, you can get 3D printers at your local maker, show and things like this. But now you have a way to take that initial product and make a dozen or 2 dozen, in just a few minutes. Now with this machine that's over your shoulder, looks like looks like you're going to make smoothies with it. But it really makes like dolls and fishing lures or little plastic toys for people, and it just seems to be taking the world over. You're getting money on crowdfunding, on Kickstarter for this thing, and you're starting a whole new career. How'd you get into this thing?
It's just been since I was little, it's been making things and come up with ideas and build things, and there's always got to be a better way of doing something is my mentality. So to come up with the RotoMAAK, it filled a need. Basically starting out, it filled a need, just like you explained there. I can 3D print something, but then when I want multiple copies of it, it just takes a lot of time. You're talking hours to do something, where if a lot of times you'll print a hollow part, and that's the end use is a hollow part. So you can take those, you can make a silicone mold, or you can even one step back behind that is you can print your mold itself. So you could actually 3D print your mold, use a 2-part urethane resin air cure, put it in the machine, rotational cast it, and now you've got a hollow part.
So if you were like a jewelry maker with some little, tchotchkes they're making out of plastic or something like that, you could make 100 of these things in no time, right?
Right, yeah, you're taking the time from hours down to minutes.
Yeah.
And the thing is, once you get one mold made, you can use that one mold, and like you say, you can make hundreds. You can, depending on how you take care of your molds, you can take hundreds of them things and copy them over and over and over, fast. You
And
look at the
your option is really sending it out to be manufactured, 100 or 1,000 times, right? And
Right,
that's going to take forever.
Yeah, and it's a bridge between the cost of taking your one part. Now I want to go and make an injection mold of it. Now you're talking thousands of dollars to get the injection mold made, to get a manufacturer lined up to make your mold, injection mold it and stuff. Yeah, your end use. If you're going to make 100,000 of these things, you're definitely not going to do one at a time. But it's the bridge between making one and making, say, 5,000 or 1,000 of the same thing. It's a bridge to use in between there in a desktop, footprint for a machine
we have 3D printers that make us the first one now. So, and if people don't have a home 3D printer, they could go to like one of the groups you hang out in, the maker people have 3D printers. They'll show you how to get this done, and you make one. Now, and you said the furthest step is when you need 5,000 of these suckers, but you may only need a dozen or 100, and that's where you come in, right?
Yes, exactly, where we come in, and there's artists out there that, hey, I've done a sculpture, a bust of this thing, and I want to make a limited edition run of them.
Ooh, that's
so
wonderful.
They can do they can make their clay, model to begin with, and make a silicone mold off of that. And now I'm going to do a limited edition run of 25. So you're not investing. You don't. Your
Yeah.
investment is. To get the thing, is you're cutting the price way down. So
you'll pay for the machine just in one operation like that.
Yeah, if you the right time and stuff. An example that we did is why would you hollow cast something? Well, you would hollow cast something for two reasons: weight and material. I've got a product. I've got an item that I rotocast. It goes on the top of a post. It's a horse sculpture. We'll do that solid. You can take the mold, you can pour it solid, and you're going to end up with $8-9 worth of resin in that one mold.
And heavy.
And it's heavy. So you take the exact same mold, the exact same thing, put very little, put a lot less material in it, rotational cast it, which when you rotational cast a part, gravity, as it's turning, the stuff is curing and basically sticking to the mold.
So it's not full cast, it's just the edges that you show and the bottom, and nobody knows. It's like that Easter egg bunny you were telling me about, that's hollow in the middle.
When you're a kid, you bite open an Easter egg.
Hey, where's all that chocolate?
I got robbed. But see, that way then you can go in the weight and the time. So the horse example, I've got $8-9 worth of resin doing it solid. And casting it hollow, I've got $2.25 worth of resin in it.
Wow.
So right off the bat, on every one, I'm saving $6 on every part. And, if you got to do 100 of them, there's $600 in your pocket. You just paid for the machine.
Now, you also said that somebody, since you've been on Kickstarter selling this thing, by the way, you made your goal like in the first week, so you're probably just sitting around, counting your money now. But you said people are coming to you like somebody who's making fishing lures, or somebody making digital compasses, want one of these things, and all kind of applications that you never even know about.
Right, yeah, never even considered until I got out there, and you start talking to people, and they see it, and you get emails, and and you're talking to other makers, and you go to maker fairs, and you're out talking to the people that actually make stuff, and they're like, well, I could use it for this, or I could use it for that. Well, yeah, great, that's awesome. I'd love to hear what something that I designed, developed, built, cut, made it all. It was all done by myself here, with a lot of support from advice and stuff. But when it came right down to it, this is my
Right.
this is
Well,
mine.
you're the one who's going to take responsibility, so you might as well take the the praise too. But I mean, like, you're the guy who go out and invented the power drill or something like that. Similar to that. So now all of us could use this, to make everything else we want to make a lot easier. Like if we bought a power drill, right? And that's what you're doing for us.
Yeah, it's just another tool in kind of in your arsenal of stuff that you're using. It's not a fix-all for everything, but there's a lot of stuff out there.
Neither is the power tool.
Exactly. You got to get the right tool for your right.
Yeah, tell them about the makers a little. If people don't know, because my audience is pretty general, like, what is makers and why should people get involved in that?
The maker community is just a bunch of grassroots type of inventors and makers, people that make things. I mean, that's just, and it's an open, the community, the maker community is a very giving and, and sharing and knowledge and stuff out there. They want to see other people, other people make things. And they want to help you make things, and I want to help people make things. And everybody wants to help make things, because we need to get back to, to America, to making our own stuff, and not running out to certain stores and buying something and that you throw away in, a week it's broke or whatever. You make your own stuff and you fix
Does
your own.
Does it cost a lot of money to be part of one of these communities or not?
No, nothing.
Nothing. So I could just go online and put in makers, and I find a local group and just say when they're having a meeting, show up, and they'll tell me about all this neat tools to make stuff, huh?
Yeah, and they're different all over. I mean, they're all different. Some have, it's a group, and sometimes some people charge memberships.
I see. So
our particular group here locally. We have a small membership fee for every month, but it's more of, we meet once a week. It's more of being with like-minded people. And if you have an idea, a makers group, most maker group out there, I know ours is, if somebody brings us an idea or simple, it's like, hey, I want to make this. How do I do it? Well, there's enough guys in our group and backgrounds are diverse enough that we can offer support and we can offer advice and stuff on how to make.
Wonderful. Now, your daughter really is involved in this too. I mean, how old is she? Like 10 or something like that?
She's 9.
9?
She's 9 years old, and as I said earlier, she could probably sit here and do the exact same interview.
So this is a good place to bring kids and get them involved, in a brand new future. Instead of learning how to shop at the mall, they learn how to make things themselves.
Yes, and that's the maker movement, is getting kids involved at an early age. That we've taken that away from kids. Kids don't. The cool thing with a kid, they're not afraid to fail.
They don't know what it's like and don't realize it.
They come up with great ideas. My daughter's all the time coming up and saying, hey, Dad, can we make this? Hey, can we make this? Or what do you think of this? I would like to have something I could do this with. So I take that and show her and try to
expand her mind, whatever. Right.
Yeah.
So to find the RotoMAAK, but right now it's rotomaak.com is the best place to start, right? And then you could go to Kickstarter, be one of the first in your block to get one of these things. So you're making things out in the basement or the garage or whatever, because it's like having a desktop printer, but you're making stuff, right?
Well, yeah, and that's my goal. I would like to have this on every bench.
Every bench, wonderful. Well, Mark, thank you so much for sharing everything you do and for encouraging people, particularly in America. We need more people like you to tell us how to make things ourselves. And to learn more about RotoMAAK, and that's MAAK, RotoMAAK.com, right?
Yes.
Thank you, Mark. Give my best to your daughter, too.
Thank you.